I transform rage into art. I want to start with the piece that I created first from the series that's called Dark Matter, and the piece is called Virgin Mary Plus. I'm working with a found image. It's an old medieval engraving of Virgin Mary with a baby Jesus and a plus sign in the middle of it, and the sign is glowing red. The reason I'm working with Virgin Mary, I believe she might be a very potent feminist character. We don't really know what she thought about, what she was writing about at the time when she was living, but I truly believe that she deserves much more attention because in the end of the day, she is a mother of God and she was before God. One of the most famous slogans of my art movement is Virgin Mary, please become a feminist. She is such a powerful character and a lot of people believe in her. I think once she turns feminist and turns on our side, our life is going to be so much easier. The next work is called Concrete Sun. Calligraphy that you can see that sort of look like the sun says the new dark ages. This is my view on the darkness that is engulfing our world. I don't like to focus just on pain and just on darkness. I always like to bring this sense of hope. One force that wants you to give up, cry, be depressed, and another force that makes you wake up in the morning, smile to your friends, to be a part of your community. This is the part that makes you a better person. Until our last breath, we should be hoping for the best and working hard to achieve our dream for ourselves and for the world that we want to see. I love this sort of darkness. I'm a big fan of post-Soviet concrete architecture, and it looks extremely dystopian for most eyes, but for me, because I was growing among those buildings, it looks like home. I was growing up in Siberia, surrounded by houses, just like the one that is depicted in this work. The dark sky, look at those clouds. I truly love how the texture of the clouds translates into the engraving. I work with the type of calligraphy called вязь, which means knitting, connecting letters with one another in a way that they create a beautiful ornament. I was first drawn to this type of calligraphy because I really like religious art and I really like Orthodox icons. Ever since I was a baby, I loved going to churches, and we went there a lot with my dad. Even though we were not a part of the church, we were not religious, but I always appreciated the beauty. 5 years ago, I started to use this old Cyrillic font for the logo of our art collective. Bit by bit, I started to be really curious about actually learning the calligraphy, because it's not as easy as downloading the font and typing it on computer. If you know how graffiti works, you know how vase works. It's pretty much the same. You type letters together, so they almost form like an object. It takes a few months of practice to get into it, but obviously, like with every medium, you get better. The more you do, better you get. You know that you have to watch the lines. Like sometimes your hands just shaking because you're overthinking it. So you basically want to get to this automatic. I'm a dedicated student, and this is my favorite pastime, to listen to lectures about Western philosophy and hour after hour just sit and draw these letters or try to connect them, put them into ornaments in the shape of a heart, or in the shape of a dome, or in the shape of a cross. The next work I want to talk about is called Eve, and you see my version of an Orthodox cross. I'm really obsessed with Orthodox crosses, and I have a lot of tattoos with it on my thigh as well. We work on creating a mock-up where we combine the image that I have chosen with the symbol that I've chosen. But at some point I felt an urge to create my own symbols, because an Orthodox cross comes with long history. The way how prisoners count their time in prisons, they don't have calendars, so they just draw a few sticks and they cross them out once those days are over. So this is the way how my cross looks like. It's just a few parallel sticks that are crossed. And this cross is in the very center of this person's eye, in her soul, if you will. This person who still, up to this day, remain an anonymous member of our art collective, looks very fierce and very dedicated, because that's who she is. And I feel like this work really captures this spirit of this young radical activist. I think those are powerful feminist characters as much as Virgin Mary, so I'm here to celebrate Eve and the serpent together as one character. All the work that you see here, this black engraved, would belong to a series Dark Matter. It's the color that can show you the way I feel about the world. The next work is called Origin. It features one of the very prominent parts of my body as the engraving, a cutout in the shape of the cross, a version of the Orthodox cross that I've created. I like to think about it as a feminist cross. I like to think, what would happen if women ruled the world, and what if happened if women ruled the church? Behind this cutout, you see my face in a balaclava. This work is about the way how I appear in the world, in the place where we all appear. Women who give birth to every single one of us. Every man, including those who hate women for some reason, have mothers. This work is specifically fun because you can walk around and peek inside of the engraving, because you can see different parts of the photo depending on the place where you're standing and where you look at the piece. It is self-portrait. I trust myself the most to portray me in the light and with a character that I feel is true to who I am. Art is just like having a baby. You don't necessarily have to have kids in order to leave a trace after you. Art is another form of living something that will outlive you and outgrow you, and hopefully will stay for many generations after.